Hey, this is Jared at Nintendo World Report, and we're checking out a new demo of Sonic Lost World. I'm here with
Aaron Weber from Sega. And the level we're looking at right here, this is what we started showing off back at E3, but we've made a few changes along the way. This is the very first level in the game. You'll see here that Sonic's speed has been changed quite a bit. You have a lot more control over Sonic. That's his normal walking speed. Then you have a run speed by holding down the right trigger like that. And then finally the left trigger will do a spin dash, and that looks a little something like that. And so the game also features, in addition to the new controls, a new parkour system, and that's meant to keep the momentum going. So if you're running and you run onto a wall like that, you can do a wall run. If you hit an obstacle like a tree, you can run up the tree just like that. And what that does is it keeps that flow and that speed going. In previous Sonic games, you would kind of hit something and just come to a dead stop. And we wanted to find a way to fix and address that, and that's what the parkour system is all about. So beyond that, the game has 6 brand new enemies. They're called the Deadly Six, and we might see more of those in just a bit. We also have a few new levels that we're going to show off today beyond this level. So my friend Sam is playing. He's our producer for the game, and he's going to get us to the end of the level now. He's just going to run through it and I'll kind of talk over while he's playing. Every level has multiple paths to it. Every level has all sorts of different ways that you can go. It has collectibles. You rescue the little animals that you recognize from previous Sonic games. There are also red star rings. We'll see more of those soon. Right here's a good example of multiple paths. So he's got like 4 different options here. This is a Wisp from Sonic Colors. It's the Laser Wisp. He uses the gamepad to activate it, and then he uses the gamepad again to kind of figure out where he wants to aim it, and then he flicks whenever he's ready. And just like that, he uses the lasers to not only wipe out the enemies, but to reflect through the prisms and to get to the next part of the level. All the enemies that you've seen are little Easter egg references to enemies from previous games. The Moto Bugs and some of the guys you've seen are from Sonic 1. And then the Chameleon you saw right there, also an enemy from the old Sonic games. You can spin dash when using parkour to get up to places you couldn't normally reach, like right there, that tall tree. So we use the spin dash there. And then right here, the ground kind of falls out underneath us, so you have to kind of go really fast and make sure not to stop. It's going to happen again right here. The bell that he's kicking around, if he can kick it enough times, turns into a red star ring. It's pretty easy in this first part of the level. The hardest part actually is coming up right here where he has to kind of stop to hit it. Perfect. And then he goes on to grab it. In later levels, the bell is going to bounce all over the place, and you're going to have to kind of keep an eye out because it might get to some places that are very difficult to get to, but that's the challenge and the fun of it. Right here, he's got another set of options as to where he wants to go. He's going to take the higher route. Here's a spot we changed since E3. You might have noticed is not here. You can now free these capsules of little animals, and it's got a running tally of the animals on the left, top left of the screen. There are 54 right now. At the end of the level, it's going to tell him how many he rescued, and then as he continues on through the game and through the world map, you're going to see areas that you can unlock by getting more and more animals. There's a red star ring right there. Very good. A and A is the homing attack. A and B is the jump. So if you push A and then B, you'll always do a double jump. And we did that on purpose to give players more control and freedom. There are going to be some times in levels where you want a double jump, but you'll be locked on, and you don't want to actually homing attack. So we've allowed the player to choose when and when they do not want a homing attack and when they do. A small thing, but a big thing, I think, overall. Right here, Sam is going to choose whether he wants to go left or right. He's going to go right, take the harder path. He's using Sonic's shadow to figure out where he's going to land. It's a little dangerous because if he falls off here, it's death, but he's doing fine. Very good. And now he's going to bounce up and grab the red star ring. Perfect. At this point, he can hop over to the other clouds, the much bigger clouds, and then on to the end of the level. You can see the next part of the level coming up below him here. He's going to skydive down to it. And when skydiving, he can hold down the run button to go to like a faster skydive like that. If he lands on the wooden platform, there you go, he can run alongside these and then take the golden can into a running section. There are different speed sections in our levels. And in these sections, Sonic is propelled forward, just running at top speed, but you can navigate him left and right. In this case, he wants to grab the numbers in descending order, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, without hitting the giant, lovely spike balls of death. Generally a good thing. There we go. And at the end of the level, he has 3 different routes he can take. This is the first route with the waterfalls, the second route, which has the spiked balls of death and some waterfalls, and then the third route, the spike pit. Let's take the spike pit route, Sam. Yeah, perfect. So this route, we're going to use the parkour system to run on the walls, and then you can spin dash to get even higher up the wall, and then you just jump back and forth. And you'll notice this on the Wii U version, notice also on the 3DS version, we have very similar mechanics. The little question mark you saw there at the top was the optional tutorial. And that's something we haven't really talked too much about yet, but we're happy to talk about now. So we didn't want to cram the tutorial down your throat as a gamer. We wanted to make it something that you could activate when you wanted to. So when you see that, you just tap it on the gamepad, and that'll bring up the tutorial option right there. So next we are going to jump over and we're going to take a look at some different levels, some much harder levels. All right, so this is Frozen Factory, and in this level, if you've ever played or seen Super Monkey Ball, it's going to be very, very familiar. So he's spinning into a giant snowball, and then as he spins the snowball around, it's sort of momentum-based, but you've also got to consider the terrain. So because it's a slick, slippery terrain with the snow and the ice, sometimes you're going to keep sliding around if you're not careful. So it provides a very, very fun, unique twist on the traditional Sonic formula here. So the rings stick to him, and then as he gets to these checkpoints, there you go, the rings will be cashed in, and that includes red star rings, rings that might be worth 10 rings or more, etc. And then why is there a pool? What's going on with the pool here? We will explain that one very soon. But for every ball that he nets in there, he's going to get some extra rings. All right, and he wants to watch out for these little snow yeti. That's what those guys are on the sides there. They look like snowmen. They're actually little snow yetis. And by bouncing into those, they will send him flying, which he does not want to do on this level. As you can see, there's not a lot of room, and he's kind of got to watch out, make sure he stays on the platform. Now, if he's feeling really gutsy, there's a red star ring there. You think he can do it, Sam? You want to go for that? He's shaking his head. I don't think he wants to do it. Oh, no, he's going to go for it. He's going to go for it. Can he grab the red star ring? Almost. We're going to give it one more shot. If we don't get it, we're just going to keep going. I just baited my demo into dying, guys. So that's a great example of one of the things in the game that is sort of like a little mini challenge, and you can go for it if you want to. But it is tricky. It is difficult. And we wanted to do that on purpose, right? Because you want to have these elements and levels where you go back and replay it over and over and over. Like, I want to get that extra unlockable. And yes, it's going to be hard. That is the goal. It's the point. But it is also doable, I promise you. You can get that red star ring. Right there, he skipped a bunch of enemies. Actually, narrowly avoided them. The bombs there will bounce him in a different direction when they explode. He does not want to do that. And the crabs will shoot rockets, and those rockets are very bad. They'll destroy the snowball. So just like in real life, it's best to avoid rockets that are being aimed at your face. There we go. He can jump on this little vent here, and it's going to pop him up to the next part of the level. And now it's going to get kind of difficult, so we'll see how we do. This is one of the later levels in the game, so don't be surprised to see some deaths here. Those guys, the roosters, are from Sonic and Knuckles, and they breathe up a lot of air, and then they spit the air back at you, and they try and blow you off course. You can also just run into them directly. Like that guy. What a jerk. There we go. Very good. He's got to watch out for the bombs. He can jump over those. Perfect. And you can also spin dash in this form to try and get a bit more speed if you want. Here he's got a couple choices. He can go right or left. He's going to the right. He's grabbed the red star ring. And then he's going to get another choice right here. Another right or left. He's going to the right. There we go. Now he's going to do a little bit of jumping, so he's trying to build up some speed. Get enough. Yep, perfect. All right, nicely done. And then on he goes towards the end of the level. All right. 10 rings for every one of those that he nets. And then this part, he's got to get past these guys. They're going to try and come at him. And by building up enough speed, he can bounce them. There we go, just like that. And then progress safely to the end of the level. Oh, yes. One little part to get. There you go. Sam's played some Monkey Ball, if you can't tell. This is actually one of my favorite themes for levels, I think, in terms of Sonic games. And maybe that has something to do with Sonic 3D Blast or with Ice Cap Zone from Sonic 3, but something about the snowy levels with this almost not Christmassy, but just the sort of wintry music is something that always sticks in my mind. And for some reason are the levels I always remember for many years to come. All right, and Sam has beaten it. This part will now take him to the very end of the level, which you can see right up there. And then he'll roll right over to the goalpost, or goal star ring. And then Sonic does his little victory animation inside the snowball. Perfect. And that is Frozen Factory Zone 2. It's the first part of Frozen Factory we're showing you, and then we have one more section to show you next. Alright, so here's our casino level. It's Frozen Factory. All this takes place within the Frozen Factory setting, but you notice that snow level was also part of it in the same way that we have a Desert Ruins area that has a giant candy level, all within the Desert or Desert Ruins, depending on how you spell it, part of the game. So it's fun for us because you get certain themes for levels, but very often what you want to do is mix that up a bit, so you're not going through the same exact theme for all parts of that level. And that's what we get to do with Frozen Factory, that's what we get to do with Desert Ruins. So yes, you're playing in a Desert Ruins per se, and you'll have a very literal Desert Ruins level, but you'll also have a more fun and enjoyable Desert Ruins. Or here, the Frozen Factory, yes, it's in a frozen area, but there's also this warm, very bright and colorful casino area that is housed within it. And that's what we get to see right here. So it's very fun. Nice red star ring there. And he can cash in all the chips he's picked up. And using those coins, he then pops on to the next part of the level, which is pinball. And if you played Sonic 2 at this point, you're like, oh, I know exactly what this is. I've seen this before. This is good. We get the little Sonic and Miles text there. An old casino night. The bumpers. Once he gets 300 more points, there you go. It opens up a little part right there, and he jumps on to the next part of the level. And for those of you that are pinball addicts and are like, man, that was short, I want some more pinball. Yes, there is a little hidden section in this level that features more pinball. We're not going to show it to you today, but when you get the full game, you can find it, no doubt. Also, blue lasers are bad. Don't hit those. Those will electrocute you, and it's just bad news bears from there on in. You can jump on the wall there. And if you can time it right, yeah, perfect. Nicely done. The little roulette wheels there are another Easter egg reference to Sonic 2. It's the exact art that was seen on those. Here's that countdown again. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 is what we want. 5, 4, 3, there we go. And then the 1. And that's a 1-up, an extra life. And he used the kick attack there to kick the smaller enemy into the bigger guy with the shield. It's a very effective way to take those guys out because very often when you attack them, they'll just block you. So just like that. And that's what happens if you attack them head on. You gotta use another enemy or else get behind those guys. Perfect, just like that. The die that you see there, the die are all very deadly. Deadly die. Almost a tongue twister. Those will spin at you and try to take you out. So you gotta watch out for those. And as he's picking up the coins here, he's gotta watch out for those lasers, yeah. Which activate as you're going through the level. So this is a level that actually rewards and encourages you to kind of take your time and to not speed through it as much as you might typically speed through a Sonic level. Especially this section right here where you have to kick this bell around and jump in between the blue lasers. He's also timed, so if he doesn't get to the bell fast enough, it'll just disappear. There we go. Now he's going to make his way back. Grab that red star ring and move on to the next part of the level. And as he comes up on the end here, you'll notice that by collecting enough to fill that meter, it shoots him forward. And the bumpers will bounce him around just like they would in the older Sonic games, any typical pinball style setting. Alright, here we go. And for the finale, we have a giant roulette wheels of death and a capsule full of animals. And so that is the second part to Frozen Factory. It's actually technically Zone 3 within the real game. There we go. And next we're going to take a look at the Silent Forest, which is our foresty jungle level. And this level is a very, very different take even from what we've just been looking at. So you've seen a Green Hill style setting, you've seen a snow style setting, you know there's a Desert Ruins type setting, and now we're going to take a look at this forest and jungle type setting, which features a new color power called the Crimson Eagle. So this level, besides looking and feeling very differently, also has a nice soundtrack change. We've got some rails that you can grind on. You don't want to touch the water or drink the water. As you can probably guess, it's not very good for you. We also have surprise crocodiles in this level, and I don't know if you guys have ever had the joy of a surprise crocodile in real life, but it's just as good in the game, let me tell you. So these guys are enemies from Sonic and Knuckles. Those guys you see right there with the mushroom hats on them, and you got to bounce the mushroom part off before you can get to the enemy beneath. Here, perfect, see, we lined the kick up right there. He angled it so that he would kick one enemy and wipe out the other two. Now then, we didn't want you guys to just be mashing the same attack button over and over, so we changed it up a bit. Here, if you homing attack the spiders, they will hurt you every time, so you have to think of a better way. So you use the kick attack. You use the kick attack then to get them off of the web, and you homing attack them afterwards. But you can't kick attack them twice. If you just mash the kick attack button, they'll get back up on the web. So we wanted a part of the game that actually required you as a player to do a bit of thinking. We wanted to mix it up for you. And so besides the level design, we also felt that the combat was a new area that we could do that in, and hence what you see here with these spiders. These are not the only enemy in the game that's going to have and require a new sort of thinking on your feet in terms of combat to defeat. So keep an eye out for more like that as you go through the full game. And then here, we do a little bit of platforming. And by jumping on these things once and staying in ball form, it pops them open. There we go. And then as we go forward, these things will close after enough time has passed. Like that. There we go. And then we got another enemy from Sonic & Knuckles. This guy, who throws the mushrooms at you. And if you get hit by the mushroom, you bounce around just like you did in Sonic & Knuckles, which is pretty entertaining for the fans. Here's the Crimson Eagle. We can activate this on the gamepad. Uh-oh, see, there's what I'm talking about right there. You can activate the Crimson Eagle with the gamepad, and we can fly around the level, which is what we're going to do next. There's another Crimson Eagle there, and if we can hit it, it'll keep us going, and if not, we'll just kind of fall down. There we go, perfect. And so we can skip all the crocodiles, grab the rings, nicely done, and then down we go. On to the next part of the level. Now, we've already revealed it, and we've shown off a little bit of it, but there is a two-player mode. So there's both a competitive and a cooperative mode. In the cooperative mode, a second player will use a remote control gadget that Tails has created, and you can use that gadget to do a number of different things. Different gadgets will also have different abilities. So maybe you could help the first player collect rings, you could help the first player destroy enemies, or let's say the first player likes to jump to their death and you would like to stop them from doing that. You can create a platform just on the spur of the moment to help save them or help them jump up to a new area that they couldn't previously get to. So it's extremely helpful if you have a friend that wants to help you out as you're going through the main game. And you can also use it if you're like a parent and your kid is playing and you kind of want to help them out and maybe they're having some difficulty, you can use it in that way as well. The little capsules of animals have been around the game for a while, but these are a great way to really rack up a bunch of animals if you are having trouble collecting them. And you can always go back through a level and pick up more animals as well, even if you've already beaten it. So you have a lot of reasons to go in and replay the levels after you've completed them once. Also, crocodiles are bad. Don't touch those. Oh, evil crocodiles. All right, they got us. We're going to try this again. Now, it's important to note that in that section, right, you're grinding, but if you took note, there are walls next to the rails there. And so if you're a smart player, you can kind of figure out ways to find different methods and paths through a level. And so in that section, you can run along the walls if you so choose. I'm not going to spoil any other potential hidden Easter eggs. We're going to let you guys figure that out yourselves, but that's just a tip of one of the things that you can do in a level like this one. Notice how close the walls are there. Yep. The bounce is back. That's what he just did right there. You can use the bounce to get through different parts. So far, so good. Nailed the red star ring, too. Living life dangerously. All right, there we go. Nicely done, Sam. We save our animals. And so that is Sonic Lost World, a little preview of multiple levels. It's coming out late October, so look forward to that. Both Wii U and 3DS, and every level on the 3DS is brand new. So you'll inherit similar playstyles and similar themes, but all the levels are built from the ground up for the 3DS. So that is Sonic Lost World. We hope you guys are excited for it, and we're bringing it to you late October.
Sega.